Yeah. So I'll zoom in so it's easier for you to see. So this is this task, the first one, is completely based on working on graphs and many types of graphs actually. That could be line graph, bar graph. So in writing, there are certain parts in which you have to first is where you have to look at certain pictures will be given to you, for example, graphs, or it could be even a process going on, a cycle going on. So you have to look at those and you have to describe those using certain words that will get you the points. Okay. So these graphs are the most common ones that we get. That could, the first one is here is line graph, then we have bar graph, we have pie chart, and then we have a table. So all these are given based on some data along with it, and that is what we have to see and we have to describe accordingly. Okay. So before we jump into description, let's first get introduced to some of the, small details that are present in the charts and graphs that are given. And specifically, first of all, we have to know which chart represents or what is the name of each of the chart or bar, I mean, the not chart, graph actually, that are here. Okay. So let's start. Let's read from the very beginning. This unit is on the man-made environment. So in this unit, you will learn how to select key features of different types of graphs, chart, and table in order to describe them accurately. Then you will use suitable verbs, adjectives, and adverbs to describe trends in different ways. And lastly, we will compare different graphs or information in the same graph and write a summary of the main features. Okay, so whatever you have to write all together about the graphs that you will get in your exam, we will learn it step by step. First, we'll look at the graphs, we'll get introduced to them, we'll learn how to describe them and what are the small segments that it has. And then we'll learn about certain suitable verbs, adjectives, and adverbs that should be used to describe what is going on in each of the graph or charts. And lastly, we will compare the different graphs. Say there can be two graphs given for you, two different types of graphs, but they will be giving out the same information, but in two different forms. So we should be able to differentiate both the graphs. And if there is a very minuscule or very small difference, we should be able to figure it out and present it in front in the writing um, to the teacher or whoever. Okay. Next, let's move on to our first activity that is given here. Here we have been given four different types of graphs and charts, right? You can see it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in here, what we have to do is we have to look at the types of diagrams. Four types of diagrams are given here that you might encounter in the IELTS exam. Then label the diagrams with your words from the box. So we have been given four different diagrams here, and you can see that there have been blanks given for you. This one's number one, there's number two, there's number three. So what we have to do is we have to figure out which part of these diagrams are labeled according to which name. We have to take it from this box. The words are given here: row, bar, line graph, pie chart, bar chart, segment, column, table, horizontal axis, vertical axis, key, line, title. So we have to pick up these words from the box and we have to put it in the appropriate blanks. Here's four, and then there's five, six, seven. So according to that, we have to fill in the blanks, okay? So the first one, number one, has been done for us and it says line graph. So this diagram, the first one here, is called the line graph. So that is why it's said line graph. Now for number two, what is this line? What does this represent? That is what we have to fill in here, okay? And then there's number three, what this represents, this line. We have to write that. So I think it's easy for you because you're used to doing graphs in school. So it will be easier for you to, you know, mark those and label those, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think you can do it yourself, and then we can you can tell me the answers.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
try it for yours. Yes.
oh, okay.
Do you have any question?
No, no, I don't have any question.
Okay, okay. Do let me know if you're facing any confusions.
Okay. Yes, I'm done.
Okay, great. So let's check the answers. For number one, it's already done for us. That's line graph. And number two, give me the answer for number two.
Line.
Line, very good. Number three,
Horizontal axis.
excellent. Number four,
Vertical axis.
great. Number five,
Bar chart.
good. Six,
Bar.
very good. Number seven,
Key.
great. Number eight,
Title.
good. Number nine,
Pie chart.
10,
Segment.
great. 11,
Table.
12.
Row.
12 is row?
Yes.
No. 12 is column. The one that goes vertically up and down, that is column. And the one that goes sideways is row.
Okay.
Okay? So 13 will be row and 12 will be column.
Yes.
We all get confused in this, no problem, happens. Always keep in mind in column we have a L, right? So that goes straight. So that is the trick, one of the tricks to remember it. So column is the one that goes straight down, and row is the one that goes sideways. Okay, great work. So these are some of the features that we have to mention when we are describing any diagram. That could be a pie chart, a line chart, a bar chart, or even a table. So we have to use these words so that we can specify that what each of these diagrams are saying. Now, moving on to our next activity here, there are some more diagrams given. Here we have to look at these diagrams, we have to pay attention, and because we now know the features, what each features are called, we have some questions regarding them, and you have to look at the diagrams and see what it says, what the title is, what it says on the horizontal axis, what is on the vertical axis, and what does each column represent, and even how you measure what is actually being said in the diagram. So all this have to be paid attention to in this activity, and you have to answer the questions. Look at the first one. Let's look at the first one. In number one, in the first diagram that we have, it's a bar chart, right?
Yes.
So here we have 6 questions regarding this bar chart. Here in number one, it asks, what does the title say the graph is about? Can you tell me what is this graph about? What does the title of this graph say?
The world's most expensive cities.
Right. So the title talks about the world's most expensive cities, right? Very good. So what does the vertical axis describe?
The buying price US dollar per meter square.
Per meter square. So when you will be writing what the vertical axis describes, you can write as the vertical axis describes the cost per meter square in US dollars. Because we cannot write exactly what is given in the diagram. We have to shuffle the words and bring some words that are easier to make others understand. So we can write the vertical axis describes the cost per meter square in US dollar. Okay, so
Yes.
same way you have to answer the next questions as well. So let's do the first set together and then the next two sets you can do it by yourself. Okay, for number three, what does the horizontal axis describe?
The horizontal axis describes the cities, the data of the cities.
Very good. It describes the different cities. Just these are the names of different cities, right? So you can say that the horizontal axis describes different names of the city or different cities. Just that. Okay, next is number four. What do the columns and bars represent?
The columns and bars represent the amount of cost of per meter square in US dollar.
Of different cities. Very
Oh,
good. Yes, you were quite close. In this, when we are talking about the bar, for that
আমারে
we
বলে আবার
have
দিয়া দিব
to bring together the information that we get from the horizontal axis as well as the information that we're getting from the y-axis, x-axis, sorry. That is the vertical axis, right? Sorry, I messed it up. Uh, the information that we're getting from the y-axis and the x-axis, that is the horizontal axis and the vertical axis, right? So that is why together we have to say that the columns and bars represent the cost per meter square of different cities. Okay, so together in the vertical axis, we're getting the cost price, and in the horizontal axis, we're getting the name of different cities, right? That is why the bars are representing these two together. Here,
okay.
did I confuse you?
No, no, I got
Okay,
it.
okay, great. So number five, which is the tallest and shortest bar?
Um, the tallest bar is of two cities, New York and Singapore, and the shortest bar is of Monaco.
Excellent, very good. Great work. Now, last one. How do the bars compare to one another? Can you compare them?
Yes, I can compare them, but like, how can I say it?
Right. So for this, here you can see three bars are quite similar, right? Which are those?
Monaco, Hong Kong, and London.
Exactly. So that is what you will say that the bars of Monaco, Hong Kong, and London are quite similar, and New York and Singapore are significantly more expensive because they have a very big difference from the rest of the cities, right? Singapore and New York. That is why you have to use the word significant because you have to emphasize on the difference that they have. So they are significantly more expensive, these two. And Monaco, Hong Kong, and London, they are uh, quite similar to each other. And here you don't really have to mention the price range, or if you want to, you can also, but the price range is very confusing here because the differences are very small. So that is why you try to avoid that, because if you have some wrong information, you might get some negative marks. But if you don't mention those, then you don't have to get those negative marks. You can just go with the flow. So it's better to be safe and to write that Monaco, London, and Hong Kong are quite similar, and New York and Singapore are significantly more expensive, or they are on the expensive side. So that is how you can compare these bars, okay? Just in simple way. Do not complicate whenever you're describing the diagrams. The most uh, cleverest way of writing these is that you do not complicate it. You just write in simple, plain words that you are seeing, the plain information that you're seeing. Do not complicate that this is going up. Why is it going up? Don't complicate it. Just go with the flow and write in simple ways. Describe very simply. That is the key to get marks in this part of the task. Okay, so that was the first part, that is the bar chart that was given. Now here in the next uh, 5 and 4, 9 questions, sorry, 10 questions. We have two more diagrams. Sorry, we have three more diagrams. I'll zoom out so that you can see all together. So in these three diagrams, we have more questions. I would like you to see it by yourself and try it and then tell me. If you face any problem, definitely tell me during answering.
Okay, miss.
But after you're done, we can do it together.
Okay. Miss, what is the question 11? Like the general trend, what do we mean by that?
By that, it actually means overall. How do you think this line is?
Okay.
As in for the bar chart here, they told you to compare the bars, right? And give
Yeah.
a statement about it. Same, almost same. The question for the line chart, this is that what is the general trend? Actually, when we use the word trend for a diagram, especially for the line chart, because the way the line is going is actually called the trend. So what is the general trend of the line actually asks you that how is the line actually going? So overall, give a review of the line, how it is going. So that is
Okay.
what the question is.
Okay, miss. Miss, I'm done.
Okay, great. All of them till 21?
Yes.
Okay, that was quick, very good. Okay, so let's look at number 7. What does the title say about the graph?
The
Sorry,
title
what does the graph is about? Yeah.
the title of the graph is Home Ownership Rates in Selected European Countries.
Is about home ownership rates in some European countries. Very good. Okay, next is number 8. What does the vertical axis describe?
The vertical axis describes the percentage rate of home ownerships.
Okay, when you are using percentage, you do not give rate, okay? So the vertical axis describes the percentage of people owning their homes or owning their own homes or the percentage of people who are owning a house.
Okay.
A percentage of home ownership. That also works. That is also correct. Okay, next one is what does the horizontal axis describe?
The horizontal axis describes the European countries.
Describes some European countries because there are many. Here, 6 we have, so some European countries. Or you can also be specific about 6 European countries. Okay, next is number 10. What does the highest and or lowest points of the line show? So go for the highest first.
In the line show, the highest point is of Romania and the lowest point is of Switzerland.
Right. So this is, you are saying it in a very straight way, right? But when you will be describing this diagram, that is this line chart, it will be better if you say Romania has the largest percentage of homeowners because they are asking about the points. So each point represents each country, right? So it's
Yeah.
better you mention the country that in the highest point, it is Romania and it shows us the largest percentage of home ownership, and the lowest point is of Switzerland, which shows the smallest number of home ownership, or smallest percentage, sorry, smallest percentage of home ownership. So be specific with the information that are given in the graph or the diagram, okay? That will be better. Okay, number 11. What is the general trend of the line?
From the line show, we can see that Romania has the largest percentage
Very good.
of home ownership. Then it decreases to UK, and UK and France has the similar percentage of home ownerships. Again,
Good.
from France to Switzerland, it again significantly decreases to
Decreases.
40 percentage.
Very
So,
good.
so the line gradually decreases from Romania to Switzerland.
Very good, very good. That is a good description. And lastly, you can also say that most of the countries have similar figures because the decline that is going on is not very sharp, right? It is
Yeah.
declining very gradually. So you can say most of the countries have similar figures except Romania. So if you have to describe the trend in one sentence, you can say it this way that the trend that is going on in it, most of the cities have similar figures, but Romania is a bit on the higher side. You can
Okay.
describe like that as well. Your one is very correct. That has a lot of details. That's very good. That is good. Okay, next is number 12. Are there any sharp decreases or increases?
As we can see from the line show, the Romania has the highest point, and from there, Italy, UK. Um, I'm sorry, just let me repeat myself. Okay.
Yes, yes, sure, go on.
So from the line show, there are no significant sharp decreases or increases, but as we can see, that Romania has the highest point, and from there it decreases to Italy, UK, having a similar kind of percentage, and UK and France have similar percent, but
Okay,
France,
let me clear this out here. Here, they're just asking about a sharp increase or decrease, okay? But in this line, can we see that there are any sharp increases or decreases? Just
no,
one or two? We
yeah,
cannot see any sharp decreases from Italy to Switzerland, but from Romania, there is a sharp increase, right?
yeah,
So just focus on that because the other trends that are going on, they are slightly slanted. They're not completely steep. They don't go up or down very sharply. So what we can say is that Romania has a sharp and also here, if the countries that are mentioned here, according to a graph, what do we see? Whenever we see that in the x-axis, the components are the same, that time we can say that yes, if that's a timeline, for example, we could have said yes, from this time to that time, there was a peak hour, it increased, and then we can say from this time to that time it decreased. But because these each of the components are different, each of the countries are different, we cannot say which one is an increase, which one is a decrease. It's just that one has a higher percentage, the other one has a lower percentage. Could I clarify myself?
yeah, I
So
understand.
that is why here, because they're asking for a sharp decrease or increase, we do not focus on increase or decrease. We do not work on that. We will work on what we have to say from our diagram that we're seeing. So from that, we will say that Romania has a much higher percentage of homeowners than any other country. In this way, they will understand that we are explaining the sharp increase or decrease according to the diagram that we have. Got it?
Yes, I got it.
So now you tell me what will be the answer to number 12?
So overall in the line show there is no sharp decrease or increase except Romania. From Italy there is similar kind of percentage rate, but overall from Romania to Switzerland there was a sharp decrease.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So moving on to the pie chart now. So I think the descriptions about line graph is clear for you,
Yes, it's clear.
hopefully. So let's move on to the pie chart now, number 13.
Yes.
What does the title say about the graph?
The graph is about the average house size in selected countries.
Excellent. Very good. Number 14. What do the segments represent?
The different segments represent the average house sizes in those colored countries.
No, each segment represents each of the countries, dear. See, each segments are colored in different colors and the keys are given beside, right? So orange is Canada, black is USA, and green is Australia. So these each of the segment represent Canada, but they measure the the percentages that are given here, the measurements that are given, that shows the average house sizes. But each of the segments represent each of the countries given. Okay?
Okay.
So the segments represent different countries in the pie chart. Okay, number 15. Which is the largest and smallest segment?
The largest segment belongs to Australia, having 214 meters square, and the smallest segments belongs to Hong Kong, which has 45 meters square of house size.
Very good, excellent. Last one, number 16. Are some segments similar in size?
No, there are no segments that are similar in size, but we can see that Hong Kong and Japan have a similar house size, though there is a lot of difference between each countries.
Other than Hong Kong and Japan, we can see Australia and USA. See, it's 214 and USA is 201. So the difference is 13 meters square. And for Hong Kong and Japan, the difference is way more big, right?
Yeah.
So we can say that the segments of Australia and USA are similar in size because their difference is quite smaller than the rest of them. They have some similarity among them, right? So yes, the answer should be that yes, Australia and USA have similar sizes in their segments because Australia represents 214 meters squares of as its average house size, and USA has 201 meters square as their average house size. Okay? So these are the very small details that you have to pay attention to. Even when I first saw this diagram, I also got confused in the same thing. I also thought that maybe Hong Kong and Japan are similar, but no, see, their differences are way bigger than the differences between USA and Australia, right?
Yeah.
So you have to pay attention to these when you are describing each of the diagrams. Okay, but well done. You tried very well. Now moving on to number 17. This is a table. Here we have questions. For number 17, the question is, what does the title say about the table?
The table is about average house size in selected in some European countries.
Very good. Instead of using selected, we can use in some European countries. Very good. Number 18. How many columns are there and what do they represent?
There are a total of 7 columns, and they represent.
Again, you're making the mistake. Column is which one?
The
Sideways?
oh, the sideways.
Sideways or the up and down? Which one is the column?
The up and down.
Right. So then how can it be 7? There are 2 columns.
Oh, yes.
So yes, how many columns are there and what do they represent?
There are 2 columns, and the left side one represents the countries, and the left column represents the size of the size of house in those countries.
So for this, you don't have to you don't have to say or write left or right. You can just say the columns represent the name of the countries and the sizes of their or the name of the countries and the average house size of each of the country. So you can just give it like that, okay? Okay, number 19. Which country has the biggest average house size?
Denmark has the biggest average house size.
Excellent. Number 20. Which country has the smallest average house size?
Italy has the smallest average house size.
Very good. 21. The last one. Which countries have a similar average house size?
Um, from the columns, we can see in between Italy and United Kingdom, there is a similar average house size, though there is a bit difference. And also between Germany and France, there is a similar average house size.
Okay. So for this, you said Germany and?
Germany and France and
Right.
Italy and United
Italy
Kingdom.
and UK. So here, see, whenever you have to uh, tell them or state the similarity, you have to select the pair that has the least amount of difference. Okay, so for UK and Italy, it is 61 and 76, right? So what is the difference? 76 minus 61 is 5 and
15.
15, right? 15. And for France and Germany, we can see it is just 3, right? The
Yeah.
difference is just 3. So see, here the pair of France and Germany are the most similar. So you have to select just these two to say that these two countries have the similar average house size. Because if I consider UK and Italy, I can also consider Germany and Spain, right?
Yeah.
Because they are also quite similar, but we cannot do that. We have to show the pair or the countries that have the smallest difference among themselves. So for that, France and Germany are the winners for this question, right? So it will be the countries France and Germany have a similar average house size. Just this.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes,
Okay,
miss.
well done. Well done. Good work. You answered all the questions very nicely. You tried very well. Now, moving on to our third activity. Now that we know from the very beginning, what are the words and small segments that we need to mention when we're describing a diagram, and then we also described the diagram using the question answer part. Now, let's see here there is a sample answer given where a pie chart is being described. Here, what we have to do is there are certain misinformations given. There are some errors in this sample. We have to look at them and we have to correct the sample. So each of the place where there are errors and mistakes, it has been marked for us. See, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, not 7, till 6. So there are 6 mistakes. What we have to do is we have to pay attention to this, and the pie chart that is given in exercise 2, this one, this pie chart, we have to compare it with this one, okay? So according to that, we have to read the passage and we have to correct the mistakes that are given here. Clear?
Okay.
So should I zoom out or zoom in, or is it fine?
I am also using it like from I have it.
Okay, you have it in front of you. Okay, that's great. That's great.
Miss, I'm done.
Okay, great. So let's see for number 1. So have you read the whole sample properly?
Yeah, I have read it.
Great. So this can be a sample for you too. Other than the mistakes that have been made here, other than that, the format that is given here is very appropriate. You can also follow this when you would like to write a whole paragraph describing the diagram. Okay, so let's start with number 1. In number 1, the sentence is the pie chart and table provide information about the average house size worldwide. So what do you see?
Instead of worldwide, it will be in selected countries.
Very good. And here, there are two mistakes actually. The
Okay, yeah, the
pie
table.
chart, what is the table?
So there will be no table. We are describing only the pie chart. So the pie chart provide information about the average house size in selected countries.
Okay, so see, here is another mistake that we made. That is, they are describing the pie chart and the table in exercise 2. Maybe it's my fault because I forgot to mention it. They're actually working on both of this because both of these have, see, I told you when there are often times when there are two diagrams given that have the same information in each of them. In the pie chart, in this pie chart, the information that is given is the same as the information that is given in the table chart. I mean, in the table. But they have some differences in it for which we get confused. So in this sample answer, both the diagrams are being described here. So the pie chart and the table both are being described, and it is being said that both of these diagrams represent average house size worldwide. But the difference here, the error that is made here is that in the pie chart, the information is on selected countries. And for the table here, it is on selected European countries. Understood? So that is the difference here. But in the sample, it is being said that the average house size worldwide. It is worldwide, but we have to be specific, right? So that is what we have to mention here, that the pie chart provides information about the average size in selected countries, and the table represents the information about the average house size in selected European countries. Okay, so that is the first error that we found. Now, moving on to number 2. What is the error that has been made here? The second largest houses are in Canada, with the average size being 201 meters square. What will be the correct answer here?
The second largest house size are in Hong Kong with the average size being 201 meters square.
Are you sure?
Yes.
201 is USA.
Yes.
It's not Hong Kong, it's USA, dear. So this will be the second largest houses in USA with the are in the USA with the average size being 201 meters square. Got
Yes.
it?
Yes, I said USA, right?
No, you said Hong Kong.
Oh my god.
It's okay, okay, I get it. That was an honest mistake. It's okay, I get it. No problem. So you wrote the correct answer, that is USA. But you said it differently. It's okay. Okay, next is number 3. The country with the smallest houses is Hong Kong, with residences being an average of just 45 meters square. What is the mistake here and what will be the correct one here?
The country with the smallest house size is Hong Kong, being an average of just 45 meters square.
So, what is the correct form of this? Is there any mistake that you find?
Like they said with residence, so there is no mention of any residence or something.
Okay, so whenever there is a house, there is residence, right? So that is not a problem here. The problem here is an average of just 45 meters square. So when we are using the word average, it's better not to use just with it,
Okay.
right? Because when we are using just, it actually implies that we're specifying on that amount. But when we are using average, it's actually not a specific amount, right? It is taken from a lot of data and then we take uh, just an average answer from all the data. So that is why we don't use just. It will be an average of 45 meters square. Just this. Only this answer. Okay?
Okay.
See, these are very, very small and critical mistakes that we often do that they do not miss to see when they're checking our papers. So that is what we try to avoid doing so that they don't find any mistakes in our work. and we don't get any negative markings.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to number four. Here in this sentence, it says, in comparison, the table illustrates the average house size in all European countries. It will be what?
In comparison, the table illustrates the average house size in selected European countries.
Excellent, very good. In selected European countries, very good. Number five, in conclusion, when comparing the two graphs, it is easily apparent that houses in Europe are much smaller than in non-European countries.
Um,
What
I,
will this be?
I didn't find any mistake in this.
Okay. Yes, it is very hard to find the mistake in this because it is apparent that houses in Europe, so this sample is generalizing all the houses in Europe being smaller than the non-European countries, right? But according to the data, are all the European houses smaller than the non-European ones?
No, not all, but
Not all, right? But most of them, right?
yeah.
So that is what we have to include here, that it is easily apparent that most houses in Europe are much smaller than in non-European countries. The most that should be given before the houses is missing. That is what we have to mention. Understood.
Yes.
Okay, last one. Overall, Australia has the biggest houses and Italy has the smallest.
So overall, Australia has the biggest houses and Hong Kong has the smallest.
Excellent, very good, correct. So yes, that will be Hong Kong and not Italy because according to the data, Hong Kong is the one that has the smallest house, that is 45 meters square only. Other than that, other than Hong Kong, the rest of the countries have much bigger houses than Hong Kong. So that is why Hong Kong is the smallest and not Italy. Okay, well done. Now, let's see what is written in number four. Here it says, did the writer make any other errors not related to data? If so, what were they? Do you think the writer made any other errors, not anything that is related to the data that is given in both of the diagrams, but just in general when he wrote the sample answer, do you think he made any difference? I mean, any mistake, not difference.
I don't think so.
You think he made a mistake?
I mean, I didn't understand what you said.
Okay, so this question asks that the sample question that we just corrected. So all of the corrections that we did, most of them was related to the data that is given, right, in the diagrams.
Yes.
So other than these mistakes that are related to the data, do you think there is any mistake in the whole sample answer?
Um, uh, in the second paragraph and in the second line, they said that the United Kingdom and Italy have the smallest houses, which is not true because Hong Kong and Italy have the smallest houses, not the United Kingdom.
Okay, that is
And
what you are saying here, that in this, according to the European countries, but then again, you have to see that they are talking about the table in this paragraph. In comparison, the table illustrates the average size of European countries. So they are suggesting and they're placing these facts according to the table only, not both of the diagrams. That is why this data that is given here, it is correct because according to the table, UK and Italy have the smallest houses and Denmark and Greece have the largest. But if
yeah,
they were to say that if we're comparing the pie chart and the table together, and according to that, the smallest houses are these, then it would have been wrong, right? But because that is not it, they're just talking about the table, this is correct. Okay, let me help you out with this answer. So there are no major mistakes here, but there are two opinions that the writer has included here. That is, this is perhaps because it is such a large country. So this is let me hear, wait. This is perhaps because it is such a large country. And there is another one. This is most probably due to the size of each country. This sentence is
Last sentence.
last one. So these opinions should actually not be included because you are not sure of it. You're using perhaps and you're using most probably.
Mm.
So here in this task of describing diagrams and describing charts, you have to avoid putting personal opinions. So these two are personal opinions, right? This is perhaps because it's a large country. You are thinking that maybe this is because of this. And there is another thing that it is most probably the smallest country, or it is most probably because of the due to the size of the country. These are your personal opinions for which your marks will be cut here, because in this part it is strictly said not to include any sort of personal opinion. You just have to stick to the diagram that they are telling you to describe and just give them the data that each of the diagram represents. That's it. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind that you should not include any personal opinions in this description. Okay, so, moving on to our fifth exercise here, activity. Here we have some words. Now that we also learned how we can describe each of the diagram and how we can correctly write a paragraph about it, there are some words that should be learned when we are talking about the diagram, what it represents, how it's going, how it is going up or it's going down, whether the chart is rising or the bars are going down. So for that, there are certain words that should be kept in mind and are must to be used when describing the diagrams and charts. Okay, so here complete the words with the missing letters. Can you think of any more words for each category? So the second question will move to that later. First, we have two columns here, actually three columns. The third one has been done for us. And in the first column, we can see there is an arrow that is going up, right? So whenever in a graph, the trend is going upwards or it's rising, there are certain words that we use in order to explain that, to describe that. So number one example has been given for us, that is rise. And then there is number two, in which the word that should be written starts with IN. Can you think of any word that starts with IN and describes the trend going upwards?
Increase.
Very good. Increase. Number three, CL.
Um, Climb.
Very good. Climb. Yes. Number four, GO.
Go up.
Excellent. Go up. Number five, RO.
RO.
Yes.
Um,
It is a
uh,
transport that goes to the space.
a rocket.
Yes. Rocket. Very good. And number six,
Um,
the eagle dash in the sky. Dash high in the sky. Soar. SOAR. Soar.
OAR. Okay.
Yes.
I
That's
didn't know
also
this word.
okay, no problem. Good that you learned a new word. So soar means to go very high up. That is to soar. So eagles soar high in the sky. They go very high up the sky. Okay, now these are the words rise, increase, climb, go up, rocket, and soar. These are the six words that are used to describe the rise of the trend or the increase in the graphs, right? And now we have the other words that show the decline or decrease in the graphs. The first one is fall. Number eight, it starts with DECR.
decrease,
Decrease, very good. Number 9 starts with DE.
decline,
Very good. Number 10.
go down,
Very good. Go down. Number 11.
um,
Number
uh,
11 is
চারতলা চারতলা
plummet. It is Plummet. Plummet.
Plummet. Okay,
Yes,
I didn't know this word too.
no problem.
আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে আর 50 টাকা
Number
দিয়ে দিও না
12.
না না, আর কথা কই না এটা এটা তুমি তুমি
Um,
আইছো দেখা কইছি 500 টাকার 1 টাকা কবে বেশি
no
না
idea.
No
না তাইলে
idea,
আর কথা
no
নাই ওই যে
problem.
দন্ত বন্ধ করতো
This will
আইবো
be
আইবো
plunge.
Okay.
500 টাকাই দিতে
Plunge.
তুমি জানো
Plunge.
তারপর দিয়ে দিছি হ্যাঁ দেখ ঠিক আছে 50
Okay.
টাকা কম দিলা
And last one, number 13.
Um,
Drop.
drop. Oh yes,
Drop.
drop.
Yes. DROP. Drop. So new three new words you learned. One is soar, SOAR. Next is plummet, and the other one is plunge. Good, very good that you're getting new vocabularies for yourself. That's good. Okay, so these are the first group of words were for the rise in the trend, and the second group of words were for the fall in trend. So the words are fall, decrease, decline, go down, plummet, plunge, and drop. And the last column that has three words are for a constant state. So in graphs, oftentimes we see a straight line, right? A horizontal straight line that shows a constant state and a state that does not change for some time. So for that, the words that should be used are maintain, remain, and stay. So the graph is maintaining its trend, or the graph is remaining constant, or the graph is staying the same for this period of time. So that is how we can describe the rise in a graph, the fall in a graph, and the constant or stable state of a graph. Okay? So here, this question that has been given here, can you think of any more words for each category? Can you think of any more words for each of this category? For the rise?
Um, there is uh, there can be expand.
Expand is actually, it represents something that goes the wider way. When it যখন ছড়িয়ে যায় তখন ওটাকে we say to expand.
Okay.
But in graph, we are saying that something is increasing, the amount is increasing. So for that, we can use surge. That is one word that also means to go up. And then there is shoot up.
আমার এটা কোন কথা না
And then there is
না না অত কথা কইও না তুমি বেশি বেশি করো তুমি পেছাও কেন কি
These
জিনিস
three
আমি
words
তোমার 50
can
টাকা ছেড়ে
also
দিছি
be used
দিয়ে দাও টাকা দিয়ে
for
দাও
a
পাঁচটা
rising
আমি তো
trend.
500 টাকা বেচতে তোমার 500 টাকা দিব
Okay.
And
তাহলে
for
লয়ে
the
দাও তুমি আমি দেখো
falling
বিশেষ
trend,
গেছে কিনা
do you
লয়ে দাও
have any words for this?
কি কো আবার সাদে
No, I
500 টাকা
can't
আমি
think of any.
Okay. A very commonly used word is reduce.
Oh yes, reduce.
Then there is collapse.
Collapse.
To
খুব
fall
ক্যাসাল করি না
very,
পোলাপা
very quickly, instantly is to collapse.
টাকাটা কইনা নাও
And then there's tumble. Tumble means to decrease in very small amount or very inconsistently. That is to tumble. Then is diminished. This is also close to collapsing. Sudden fall is to diminish. Then we
খুব
have
শেষরা বুঝছো
sink, to almost same as
খুব
diminish as
শেষরা
well. And lastly, we
10
have
টাকা আমার
dip.
খাইতে মনে করো
So these are the words that can be used for a fall. Okay. Next is for for the constant state. For the constant state, it's not usually very commonly used, or it's not very common to get these. So that's why we will just keep it till three words
সব
for this.
টাকা দিয়ে
Okay.
সামনে রাখ
Now, moving on to the next activity. In first question, we have which of the verbs in the boxes are used to describe a sudden increase? A sudden increase. So these words are given here. These can represent many types of increases, right? But which of the verbs in the box represent a sudden increase, very quickly increasing? Which words can it be?
Rise.
Rise is sudden? No, rise is not sudden. Rise is to increase slowly, slowly. That is to rise.
Then
Rise, increase, climb, go up. These are all eventual increases that go on slowly. The sudden increases are rocket and soar, to go up very quickly. That is to
rock.
rocket and to soar.
Okay.
Sudden increase is to rocket and soar. Next is number 2, same for sudden decrease. Which words represent sudden decrease?
Drop.
Drop. Drop. Yes. Quite sudden. Yes. But the most appropriate words for these are for sudden decrease are plummet and plunge. The two new words. These actually represent the sudden decrease in anything. That is plummet and plunge.
Okay.
Okay. Now that we used these words, we learned these new words for the increase and decreasing trend. Let's use them in certain fill in the blanks that are given here in number 7. So when using these verbs, it is important that you also consider the tense used. So we have to correct the tenses in each of these sentences when we are using it, right? So for example, the number of young people buying property plummet last year. No, that's wrong. The number of young people buying property plummeted last year because we're talking about the past, that is last year. So we have been given the words that should be used in each of the in each of the blanks, and we have to use these words according to the tense that is given in each of the sentence, right? So let's do it. The 5 sentences. Last year, house prices dashed by 5%.
Rose by 5%.
Rose by 5%. Number 2, Monaco's property market stable.
Remains stable.
Very good. Remains stable or has remained stable. Both are correct. Okay? Okay, next one. You go on. You read it yourself.
The line graph illustrates that since 2010, home ownership decreased.
Decreased or has decreased. Actually, rather than using decreased, has decreased is more appropriate because it says since 2010. Okay? That is why it should be present perfect. Has decreased. Okay, number 4.
House prices will go up next year.
No, are going to go up next year.
Are going to up.
Yes, are going to go up next year. Number 5. In Ireland,
property prices
have rocketed substantially this year.
Okay, has rocketed.
Have prices. Yes, because it's plural, it will be have rocketed substantially this year. So number 1 is last year house prices rose by 5%. Number 2, Monaco's property market has remained stable or remains stable. Both are correct. For number 3, the line graph illustrates that since 2010, home ownership has decreased. For number 4, house prices are going to go up next year. And number 5, in Ireland, property prices have rocketed substantially this year. Okay, so these are the appropriate usage of these words according to the tense. Now, Useful adverbs and adjectives. What is said here? Once you know the common verbs used to describe charts and graphs, it is important to add adverbs and adjectives to your sentences in order to demonstrate your range of vocabulary. So, as they say, that whenever we're describing the charts and graphs, we should use adverbs and adjectives so that we can show them that we do have a range of vocabularies. We can explain very beautifully by using adverbs and adjectives. For that, we have to be clear about which adverbs should we use and which adjectives should be used, right? So you do know what adverbs and adjectives are, the difference between it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, so adverbs describe verbs and adjectives describe nouns,
Now.
right? Yes. So let's see what we have here. In the next part, it says useful adjectives. Adjectives can be used to demonstrate your range of vocabularies. Adjectives describe nouns and usually come before the noun, right? And often there are some verbs that are commonly used as nouns as well. So this box that has some words in it, these are the nouns that are actually verbs but are being used in the form of nouns when we describe the charts and graphs. Okay, so let's see which verbs are being used as nouns. To rise or arise, to increase or an increase, to decline or a decline, to fall or a fall, to drop a drop, to peak a peak. Peak, I told you peak, right? It means
Yeah.
to go up very quickly. To decrease a decrease, to dip a dip. So these are the words that are being used as nouns but are originally verbs. Just to clarify, it is being said here, okay? Now, for activity 8, I'm going very quick. Are you okay with it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, great. So for here, number 8, we have been given 8 words, and each of these words represent a big change or a small change or a gradual change. So when in a chart or in a graph, when there is a big change, there are certain adjectives that should be used. When we see a small change in the graph, we should use some words, some other words. And when we see a constant state, that is a gradual state or a no change state, in that state, we have to use some other adjectives. So let's see which of the adjectives match which of the situations. Okay, so we have slight, modest, significant, dramatic, stable, steady, substantial, and unchanged. And there's a tip given here. Make sure you know how to spell these adjectives correctly, as it is common for students to make errors with these. That is true. There are some confusions many times when we are writing a lot. That time we go blank and we forget some spellings and we get confused. We don't actually forget, but we get confused, right? So make sure that doesn't happen.
Okay.
Okay, so for big changes, there will be 3 words. What are the words do you think that should be used when we are describing big changes?
Steady, significant, dramatic.
Steady, steady for big change.
Yeah.
No, not steady, but yes, dramatic and significant is correct. There is another one that is substantial.
Substantial.
Yes, so this will be significant. I'll write B in a very bad way because I'm using mouse. And substantial is, let it be. Substantial is also for big change as well as dramatic. So these 3 should be used for big changes. Now, for small changes, these 3.
Okay.
For small changes, which one should be used? Which of the words?
Light
Very good.
and modest.
Very good. Yes. These 2 only for small changes. The slight and modest are for small changes. And for gradual or no change, it should be
Stable, steady, and unchanged.
very good. Yes. Stable, steady, and unchanged. Stable should not be used in big change because stable actually represents a state where it's not moving that much. The graph is not moving up or down. It's at a point where it doesn't move. It is unchanged. That is why stable, steady, and unchanged go with gradual or no change. Okay.
Okay.
So clear, big changes, for big changes, we use significant, substantial, and dramatic. For small changes, we use slight and modest. And for gradual or no change, we use stable, steady, and unchanged. Okay,
Okay.
now that we know these words and their usage, let's see the next activity where we have to fill in these blanks. And in this, we have to complete the sentence using adjectives from the box in exercise 8 and following the prompts in the brackets. So these are called the prompts. Prompts are topics or words that are given in front of us so that we can understand what to say or what to use. Okay, so these are called prompts.
Okay.
So more than one answer may be possible. Okay, so for number one, let's start. Over the last year, Hong Kong has experienced a dash increase in house prices. So big means big change, and gradual means gradual change, and small means small change. So according to that, you have to use the words that are given above.
So, over the last year, Hong Kong has experienced a significant rise in house prices.
Excellent, very good. So this can be significant rise, it can be dramatic rise, it can also be substantial rise, right? Because it is talking about a big change. Very good. So over the last year, Hong Kong has experienced a significant rise in the house prices. Very good. Number two.
There has been a steady increase in the number of young people buying houses.
Excellent, very good. A steady increase in the number of young people buying houses. Very good. Number three.
The rental market has seen a slight decrease over the last 6 months.
Excellent. So this can be a slight decrease as well as a modest
This
decrease. Both
decrease.
are correct. Yes, very good. Last one, number four.
The graph illustrates that the rental market is unchanged at the moment.
Very good. The graph illustrates that the rental market is unchanged at the moment, or it can be it is steady at the moment, or it can also be it is stable at the moment. All three of these are correct answers. Very good. So well done. You used those adjectives very correctly. Now let's move on and see useful adverbs. Adverbs describe how something happens and usually follows a verb. For example, last year house prices rose significantly. Last year house prices rose slightly. So these adjectives that we just used, if we add ly to it, it can turn into adjectives and it can actually match according to the changes that we just followed, the big change, the small change, the gradual change. So let's move on to activity 10 and let's see what this has to say. What we have to do here is we have to match sentences 1, 2, and 3 from here, from this useful adjectives, and we have to match it with the graphs that are given here, A, B, and C. So the three sentences are last year house prices rose significantly. Number two is last year house prices rose slightly. And number three is last year house prices rose steadily. So according to the adverbs that are given here, we have to find out which graph is being described. So can you tell me which one goes with the first sentence? Last year, house prices rose significantly. Which graph matches with it?
C.
C?
Yes,
Very
C.
good. Yes. C. Because there is a sudden rise, right? It's a big change. That is why it is significantly. Very good. Number two.
Last year house prices rose slightly. It is number A.
Excellent. It is number A because the prices are going very slowly. It's going down first and then going up. So it is a slight change. Very good. Number three, last one is
Last
B
year house price, yes, house, yeah, it's B.
because it is a straight line and it is rising gradually or steadily. It's going up Very slowly, slowly. Very good. Excellent. Well done, dear. That was great. Now, moving on to activity 11, exercise 11, complete the table using the adverbs from the box. So see, we used adjectives here to put it in the correct boxes. Now we're using adverbs to put in the correct boxes. So we have big change, small change, gradual change, and quick change. So the words that are given are considerably, consistently, sharply, gradually, moderately, substantially, dramatically, slowly, and rapidly. So let's put it in the correct boxes. Some are already done for you. Let's put the rest of them. So for big change, the first one has been given significantly, second is considerably. What will be the next two?
Um, Dramatically, rapidly, and substantially.
Very good. Dramatically is correct, and substantially is also correct, but rapidly is for another group. Here, there's a fourth group given, that is quick change. Big change is one thing, and quick change is another thing. Big change is a very big, huge amount of change, right? And quick change is something that happens in a very short time, but in a very steep line. That is quick change. So for big change, the words are significantly, considerably, substantially, and dramatically. Just these four, okay? And for quick change, it is quickly and the other one.
Rapidly and sharply.
Excellent. Yes. Quickly, rapidly, and sharply. These three. Very good. Now for small change,
Um, Slowly.
slowly is for small change? No, it's for gradual change because gradual means something happening very slowly, slowly. That is slowly. For slowly. That is gradual change. For small change,
Moderately.
yes, very good. Slightly and moderately. Excellent. So these two are for the small changes, moderately and slightly. It's already here. Now, for gradual change, the last one that is here is steadily is already given. You said slowly and any more?
Gradual. Gradual.
Yes, very good.
Consistent.
Gradually,
Consistently.
consistently. Very good. So, steadily, gradually, slowly, and consistently. Excellent. So, are you clear of all these? I'll repeat again. For big change, the words are significantly, considerably, substantially, and dramatically. For small change, it's just two words, slightly and moderately. For gradual change, it is gradually, steadily, slowly, and consistently. And for quick change, it is sharply, quickly, and rapidly. Okay,
Yes.
these three. So very good. Now, same way, now we have to use these adjectives in the sentences and we have to make sure the tenses are correct. Okay? Well, wait, tenses is not for this, it's adverb, so we have to put it correctly where it matches properly. So number one, home ownership has decreased dash over the last 5 years.
Um, Significantly.
Very good. Next is
Property prices have increased slightly over the last 6 months.
very good. It has decreased slightly or moderately over the last 6 months. Very good. Number three,
The property market is growing um, consistently in this
very
area.
good. Yes, it is growing consistently or slowly or steadily or gradually in this area. All four of these are correct. Last one.
Interest rates have increased sharply recently.
Excellent. Sharply, quickly, and rapidly. All three are correct. Very good. Well done. So this was the 12th part, 12th activity where we learned the usage of the adverbs that we just saw. Now, moving on to our 13th activity, here we have to look at the trends illustrated by the graphs and charts, discuss them with a partner using the language you have learned in
ওর ভাই
this
আসসালামু
lesson.
আলাইকুম।
Now, whatever we learned from the very
হ্যাঁ
beginning,
হ্যাঁ ভালো আছি,
firstly,
আপনি
we
কেমন
learned
আছেন?
the name of the segments that the parts
আপনার
of
বিকাশ নাম্বার
each of
কোনটা?
the diagrams that we can have as
আছে আছে ইনশাআল্লাহ ভালো আছে
in
ভালো
our
আছে।
exam,
বিকাশ
and
বিকাশ
then
নাম্বার
we
কোনটা? বিকাশ?
saw how we can use these in sentences, and then we also saw which
01972
specific data and which specific words should be used in the writing, and then we learned the
এটাই বিকাশ।
verbs that should be used to
লাস্টে কত?
explain whether the diagram or the graph is increasing or decreasing, or is it stable, and then we learned the adjectives that should be used along with
ঠিক
the
আছে তো?
verbs as well as the
আচ্ছা
adverbs,
আমি
right?
আমি টাকা
Now,
পাঠাইতেছি,
now that
পাইয়া
we
ফোন
know
দিয়েন আমারে, হ্যাঁ?
all of the
দেখি যে
details as a whole, we have to discuss each of the diagrams here just verbally according to the lessons that we just learned. Okay, so look at all three of the diagrams here, and then one by one you describe each of them to me. So let's start with A. Look at it first, take some time so that you can arrange the sentences in your head, and then you can tell me.
Okay.
বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম। বিসমিল্লাহির রহমানির রহিম।
Ready, Tasmia?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, let's start with A, diagram A.
Okay, so the line graph is about the average house prices in the London. The vertical line axis describes the prices of the houses in pounds,
Very
and the
good.
horizontal axis
জি, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
describes different
হ্যাঁ
years. So from the line graph, we can see that the highest price
10,200
of the
টাকা গেছে না?
house in London is in
আচ্ছা এখন গাড়িটাকে একটু বেলে টেলে
2015.
নিয়ে আসেন, লাইনটা কাম শুরু করেন।
So from 2015 to 13,
আচ্ছা আর
there
আপনি
has
ঢাকা
been
আসলে আমার
a
আগে তো ফোন দিয়ে
slight
আসেন, হ্যাঁ কবে আসবেন?
change in the house
Baba,
price.
listen, don't go from the latest one, go from the
আচ্ছা
oldest
যখন
one.
আপনার সুবিধা
Start
হয়
from
তখনই আসেন,
2008
তবে একটু
because
আগে দিয়ে আমারে ফোন
it's
দিয়েন,
a
আগে দিয়ে ফোন দিয়েন।
timeline, right? So you
Yeah.
have to start from the very
আচ্ছা ঠিক
beginning.
আছে জি,
So you
আল্লাহ
start from 2008 where the data is being shown from. You start from 2008 and say that from 2008 there has been a decline till 2009, and then how it goes. Start from the oldest time.
Okay. So from the line graph, we can see that from 2008 to 2009, there has been a slight decrease in price. Again, from 2009 to 2010, there has been a slight increase in the price. Again, between 2010 and 11, the prices of the house has been unchanged. Again, from 2011 to 2013, there has been a steadily increasing of
A
house
steady
prices,
increase.
a steady increase in house prices.
Right?
Again, in 2013 to 15, there has been a much more increase in house prices in London.
There has been a more significant increase in house prices,
Okay.
right? Because it's a bit of a big change, you can use significant in that. Okay,
Okay.
well done, very good. The one thing that I would tell you is that because you said it orally to me, so you went for it in one go, right? That you
Yeah.
said one after the other. But make sure when you are writing it, you give a pause, you give some information, you change your sentence pattern, and then you write it. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, moving on to our second diagram, that is B. Here,
ربي زدني علما
describe what you
ربي
can
زدني
see.
علما ربي زدني علما Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillah. Method for willful defaulter.
So B is like the bar chart or something.
It
Is
is
it
a
your?
bar chart. Yes, it is a bar chart. It is a bar chart. It is a bar chart where it shows a positive change, that is an increase, and it also shows a negative change, that is the decrease in
Oh,
price change.
okay.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I can say now.
Okay. Go
So the bar chart is about the high house price change in Dubai.
on.
So from the start in 2008, there has been a significant rise in the house price, which is the highest in the bar chart. Again in 2009, the the
Prices have decreased.
the prices have decreased significantly. Again, it is the highest decrease in the bar chart. Again, in 2010, there has been a slightly increase in house price change,
Slight
and
increase.
slight. Okay. In 2011, there has been a more a more
There has been a
less.
decrease then,
There has
2010.
yes, there has been a decrease in house price in 2010. Again, in 2012, there has been more decrease in house price change.
Or you can also say that from 2010 onwards till 2012, there has been a steady decrease in the house price in Dubai. So when you're saying about the increase and decrease, you are explaining the price change, right? So you do not have to mention the house price change. You can just say that there has been a decrease in house price or an increase in house price. Okay.
Okay. And again, in the year 2013, there has been a slight increase in the house price change in Dubai.
Then again, house price change in house price or the percentage increased or decreased of the house price. Do not add change here. Okay.
And also, like 2013, the there has been a steady house price house price percent change in
Percentage change.
percentage change in
Right.
house price. Again, in compared to 2014, in the house price change in 2015 has slightly decreased.
Right. Very good. That is good. You tried well, but this needs a bit more work on this, right? This because I understand this type of graph is new to you. It took a bit more time than the other ones to comprehend, right?
Yeah.
But another thing that you should do whenever you're describing a diagram, a chart, be that a chart or a graph, first you say all the differences and the ups and downs of the graph. At the end, you have to give an overall view of the whole diagram that you're seeing. So for this diagram, you can say that all in all, we can say that the house price, the change in the house price in Dubai is has been quite significant or has been quite substantial in the years 2008 and 2009, and the following years from 2010 onwards till 2015 the changes have been very slight, or even there are some years where the price changes were very stable or steady. So all in all, you have to give one whole opinion of yours according to the data, not your personal opinion, but according to the facts, you have to give one whole view of yours. Okay?
তারা আবার
Clear?
বেড়াইতে যাইতেছে লাইট লাইট
Yes.
লাগাইছে এই
Great.
লাম্পি
Now the
দেখে
last
যেই
one.
ঠ্যাং বাড়ছে জানোস তো কইতাম না তো কিছু আর তুই যে স্বপ্নের সন্ন্যার বললোকে দল ফলিয়ে রওনা দিছস তারা কসবা যাইব তোরা যদি কয় ফাইনাল রূপ যাবো এই জামাইটা যদি কয় রাইফার বাপে হ্যাঁ আমি যাবো তোমার বাইরে এক নজর দেখে আসি তুই না করতে পারবি আচ্ছা আরেক কথা হন তান্ডে বিলে কইছে স্বামীর নাই বিলে কইছে আপনি আসেন আমরাই স্বামীর না কারো রান্না না খাওয়াইছে কখনো হ্যাঁ স্বামীর নাই বিলে কইছে না স্বামীর লোক আমি আমার লোকে স্বামীর কথা হয় না পূর্ণ করছে স্বামীর নাই বিলে কইছে তারে খাই বাহারে স্বামীর না খাওয়াই নেই কারণে স্বামীর বাপে তে তার বোনটাই খাওয়ায় না আঙ্গুইরাগে তার বোন টোয়েন্টির বিচার করে এই করে সেই করে যাবে না বাসায় এই বাইটি যায় না ইতালে বিলে তাইরে তাল দেয় চিন্তা করছো তাই তাল দিতে তাই আজকে যদি কই না না আমি কই যদি সাইদুরে কয় যে তোমার বাড়িটা আমি একটু দেখা যাই তাইলে তুই না নিয়ে পারবি আর হেই না সম্মান দেওয়ার লোক আছে এটার যেই শয়তান ফেস লাগাই দিবে একটা উল্লা বনা ফরাইদা বাসিরে ফরাইদা বাসিরে তার উল্লা বনা কথা কইব না তার বাড়িটা উঠানটা আছে না আমরা যে উঠানটা দাদির ঘরের আমরার ঘরের মাঝখানটা আঙ্গুরের ঘরটার সামনে মাঝখানটাতে একটা ঘর থেকে বাড়ির বাসিরে মানে ঘরটা বাড়িটা বস্তির মতো বানা রয়েছে এই বাড়িটা তুই যে লয়ে যাবি তুই না আচ্ছা এত বছর যাবো আমি এদিকে আমি কানও মাসি পারি না যে কে ওদিকে যাওয়া লাগবো দেখে আর তুই শীতলাই যাইব সাইদুরে বয়ে রয়েছে উনি কইছে আমি তো আপনার কসবা সবাই আমি তো আপনার দেখাই আলাম কইছে তো কসবার দিকে যখন যাইবো তো ফাইনাল তো কাছেই নাকি না গিয়া পারবি স্বামীর নাই কইতো না লন না আমি লয়ে যাই আপনারে কইব নি তাইলে তুই ফেসে করবি নি
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
আমি দাম কি বল ফানার লাগা
The bar chart
আর
represents
সেটা
the
বললো
house
তো আবার কি
price
এর বেড়ান
change in Hong Kong. The vertical axis represents
তুই কথা
the
বলছ কি লাগা
different years,
তুই
and
ফার্স্ট ইয়ারে
the
না করতি
horizontal axis
আমি না করব আমি না করব কেন
describes
আমি হেজাইতে চাই
different
শিবু যাইতে
percent
চাই আমি
of
না
house
করি ওর
price
জায়গায়
change in
আমি না
Hong
করতে
Kong.
শিবু না করি
Percentage.
তুই কবি না কেন
Different
কেন কইব তুই
percentage
জানো চাই আমি
in
ফেসা
house
করতে
price change
যাইতেছি
in Hong Kong.
তুই বুঝছ না
So
তুই
in
এটা ফেসা
the
করবি
year 2008,
হ্যাঁ
there has been the highest increase in house
আমি
price
কথাটি
change
কইছি
in
তাই
Hong
তাই
Kong.
পছন্দ করে না বলে
On the
There has
other,
been highest increase
আমি
in
কইছি
house
আমি
price,
কইছি
not
তুই যে গাড়ির
change.
মধ্যে উঠে উঠে হেদিকে রওনা দিতেছ
Don't use change.
স্বামীর নাই কইবা আমি লয়ে যাই
Highest
চলেন
increase in
এই
house
সকলে
price.
কই তো
So
লয়ে যা
the
তুই না
words
করতে পারবি
increase and decrease that you're using, that is
সকলে যদি
representing the change. So you don't have to add the word
হ্যাঁ
change again, okay,
তো
in your sentence.
okay.
তুই সেইটা বাদ দে কিন্তু কথা হচ্ছে
On the
সকলে
other
যখন
hand,
গাড়ির
in
মধ্যে
the year
দেখে নিয়ে উনি দেখতে চাই একটু
2009,
চলো উনি দেখতে
the
চাই একটু চলো
house
স্বামীর নাই
price
কবে
has
চলো ওই উনি সবাই
rapidly
উনি কবে চলো
decreased
ছেলে
in
কবে
Hong
চলো
Kong.
তুই না করতে পারবি তোর
Right.
বাড়িতে নেওয়ার লেগে
The year
হ্যাঁ
again in the year
আর তুই
2010,
যদি এই প্রোগ্রাম না
the
করতি তাহলে
house
তো চলতো
price has significantly increased
আমরা দিয়ে
again.
মনে কখনো লয়ে যাই নই বাড়ির
In
মধ্যে
the
কারণ নাকি ওই না আমাদের কোনো
2011,
পরিবেশ
there
নেই
has
জায়গা
been
নেই
a
আমরা বাড়ি
slight
কি একটা
increase
বাড়ি
in the
দিব
house price.
কাউরা করে লাগে সকলে
In
সারাক্ষণ তার লগে তার সামনে
2012,
কি
there
হবে
has been a
একটা ফেস লেগে দেবো
significant
বা উল্টা
decrease
পাল্টা
in the
কথা
house
কইবো
price.
অথবা ঝগড়া
Or you
কথা
can
তো
also
দেখতে
say there has been a dramatic
আর
fall
কিছু না
in the
দেখুন বাইরে
house
যখন
price
বাইরে বাইরে দেখো কি ঘর
in the
নাই
year
বস্তির মতো তুইলা
2012.
রাখছি তার কেমন লাগবো দেখে বলে বাইতে বিয়ে
In
করছি হ্যাঁ
2013, there has been again a
বেশি ভালো হয়ে গেছে
slight
কখন দিয়ে বেশি ভালো তুই
change,
তুই সেন্টার
a
তো আমার ফোন দিছিস আমি কিন্তু
significant
আমার সময় নেই আমি এই
increase
দলের
in
লগে
the
যাবো কি
house
লিখে আমি
price.
আমার কোনো কাম আছে কি তুই তার
Again,
তাই কম
in
বেড়ায়
2014,
মুন্নি
there
মুন্নি
has
যাবাই
been
কি
a
কম বেড়ায় নাকি
dramatic
দুনিয়া
fall
শুদ্ধ
in
বেড়ায়
the
এইটা তো
house
যাই দিব
price.
Try to use the words
সেটা তো
plummeted
কইছিলাম
and
তুমি চলো আমাদের
plunged
লোক কক্সবাজার যাবো
when
তা
there
তো
is a
অন্তত গেল
very
না
big
আমাদের লোকে
change or a
Okay.
fall.
Okay.
Try using that word here.
Okay. So in
সেন্টার
2014,
বলে
there has
শীত
been a plummeted
আরে
fall.
হেবেন
There
গেলে
has
তো
been
ইজ্জত
a
যাইবো
plummet.
বুঝছ কি জন্য
Acha,
হেবেন
plummeted
হেবেন গেলে
fall.
তো ইজ্জত
No,
যাইবো বুঝছ
plummeted
কি
is
জন্য
not an adjective. So from on the year 2014, the house prices plummeted. That's a verb, remember? So you
Okay.
can use it that way.
আচ্ছা
The
এই
house price
একটা
plummeted,
একটা এটা তো কোনো
and
এটা তো
again
কোনো
in
মানে কোনো
2015, the house
কেনা
price
বেচার জিনিস বা কোনো দরবার
significantly
টরবার বা এই
increased
সেই
again.
লেনদেনের ব্যাপারে এমন
Right,
তো কিছু
very
না
good.
এটা একটা
Well done.
বেড়ানো
Now, what
টেকনিক্যালি কই
about
দিতে
the
দেখি আমি
last
যদি পারি
sentence that
যাবো,
I
না
told you,
যাবো
the
না, আজকে থেকে না
overall
করে দিতে, তাই
review
তো হইতো নাকি?
of the whole
এবারে কি তোর জবাই করে
diagram?
লইলে
So
আগে তো ব্যাপারটা বুঝবি,
overall, be,
কয় না হ্যাঁ লোকে হ্যাঁ যাইতে
there
চাই,
We
has
can
হ্যাঁ যাইতে
see.
চাইলে তুই কবি আমার সময়
we
নাই,
can see that there
আমি
has
কয়
been
আমি কিল লিখা চিন্তা
significant
করছো?
increase and decrease
তো
in the house price
তাই যে
in Hong
দুনিয়ার
Kong,
জায়গায় যায়
where
বেড়ায়, আমরা কি তারে কোনো
2008
নিষেধ
in
করি কোনো জায়গায়?
2018 there was
এরা
the
পারলে এরা যাবে ক্ষতি নাকি?
highest
তাই তো দেশ বিদেশ সব
increase
জায়গায়
in
বেড়াইতেছে
house
নাকি?
price,
তো তুই
and in
যাবি
the
না
year
কেন? যাবি, কিন্তু এইটা
2014
কইতে
there
আমি
was
না
the
করলাম কেন বুঝবি না তুই?
lowest there was
তোর তাই
the
বিয়ার পরে
highest
তো 10 বছর
decrease
লাগো, যত
in
জায়গায় গেছে আমি কোনো
house
জায়গায়
price.
নিষেধ করছি?
Or the
তোর বাইতে তো
percentage
গেছে
of
নাকি
house price was the
কয়েকবার? আমি
lowest
কি
in
নিষেধ করছি কোনো জায়গায়
2014.
যাইতে নিষেধ করছি?
Yes.
এটা আমাদের নিষেধ করার বিষয় না,
Well done.
কিন্তু এই
Very good.
জায়গার মধ্যে তুই
Very
তো
good.
বোঝা উচিত
Well
ছিল,
tried. That
অথবা
was
আমারে তুই একটা ফুল
better
দিতি।
than the last one.
যদি
Very good,
পরে এই
dear.
কয় কি
If
করতাম
I
Now,
got
yes,
a bit more
হ্যাঁ
time, then I could organize.
definitely. Definitely.
কে না হলো
Yes,
তো
of
তুই
course.
তুই বেশি কথা বলছিস
I
কেন? ফাজিল
understand.
করে পুটকি কথা
Because
বল
this
পুটকি
is just the oral part,
না
that's
হলে
why
মানে
we did it
তুই
very
তুই তুই তুই
quickly.
তুই
But
তুই
there is a part where you have to, in this part, you
না না
have
আমি
to
আমি তুই
write
তো
it down. That this is like a test for you. So I'll give you to do it at the end, okay? So
ইজ্জত
let's
যাবে রাইব
complete
ফকির
these activities that are here. In activity 14,
জানোয়ারের
let's see
বাচ্চা
what it says. Match descriptions
রাখ ফোন
1
রাখ
to 3 with the graphs and charts A to C. Then complete the first gap in each sentence with the correct country name. So for 14, we have to look at the graphs A, B, C, and we have to look at the sentences 1, 2, 3, and we have to match it with the graphs, appropriate ones, and we need to fill in the blanks. Okay. So for number one, it says since 2008, house prices in Dash have fluctuated heavily. In 2008, prices dashed by just over 40%, then to then dash to minus 40%. So looking at the sentence, we have to understand which graph is being spoken about. And then according to that, we have to fill in the blanks and complete the whole sentence. Okay? Clear? Is it clear? Okay. Then try it for yourself. I'll zoom out so that we can see it together. Let me add one more thing that I missed here is that we have to fill in these blanks using the words that are given in activity 15. See the words that are given in the box. We have to use these words to fill in the blanks that are given in 14. Okay, so we have one blank that will be filled with maybe the name of the country in that is given in the graph, and the other blanks have to be filled with the words that are given in 15. Okay.
Okay. Yes, I'm done.
Great. Okay, let's start with number one.
Since 2008, house prices in Dubai have fluctuated heavily. In 2008, prices went up by just over 40% and then plummeted dramatically to minus 40%.
Excellent. So number one represents which of the diagram?
Graph B.
Graph B. Very good. Excellent. Number two.
Since 2008, house price increases in Hong Kong have remained under 11% each year. In 2008, prices reached a peak with a rise of just over 10%.
Excellent. Very good. So number two represents which graph?
Graph C.
Excellent. Well done. Number three.
Since 2010, house prices in London have increased steadily.
Very
In
good.
in 2009, prices went up by almost
Oh, wait, wait, wait. Since 2010, house prices in, okay, yes, in 2009, sorry, go on.
prices went up by almost 100,000 pounds, but decreased substantially again rapidly in 2010 in to approximately 600,000 pounds.
Okay, so let's look at A because I have a bit of a confusion. So they are saying in 2009 prices dash by almost 1,000 pounds. So in 2009 the prices, okay, by 1,000 pounds went up, right? And then but decreased substantially again rapidly in 2010. Okay, yes, sorry. I wrote it the other way by mistake. Okay, well done, very good. So since 2010, house prices in London have increased steadily. In 2009, prices went up by almost 100,000 pounds, but decreased substantially again rapidly in 2010 to approximately 600,000 pounds. Very good. Well done. So this one, the last one, matches with graph A, right?
Yes.
So well done. Very good. You did great. Now that we've completed learning everything about graphs and how we can describe them and how we can put their datas into writing when we are describing the diagrams, what I would like you to do is I would like you to complete this exam skills and you have to write a paragraph of at least 150 words. So this is a bar chart given for you. Here, what you have to do is you have to use the information and language from this lesson to answer this writing part one task. You should spend about 20 minutes on this task. The chart below gives information about how people aged 25 to 34 are housed in the UK. Summarize the information by selecting and reporting on the main features and make comparison where relevant. So write at least 150 words. So here we have a tip given. Do not give your opinion, just the facts. See, like I mentioned earlier, do not mention any of your opinion, just state the facts that are given in the diagram. And the second tip is remember to include an introduction and conclusion in your answer. So whenever you're writing, let's see the sample answer that is given here. Whenever you're writing, you have to give a paragraph where there is a introduction about the whole thing, whole diagram that you're looking at, where you will first say that what this diagram is about and what each of the axes represents, and as a whole, what information are you getting from this diagram? That is what will be in the introduction part. In the second part, that is the body paragraph, here you will explain what you are seeing in the diagram. That is the ups and downs, the steady parts, the data that is being collected from the very beginning. That is you will start explaining the data from the left hand side, okay, of the horizontal axis. Don't start from the right hand side. You always start from the left hand side data, whether that is name of cities, name of countries, or a timeline. You start from the left hand side, okay? So
Okay.
you give all the comparison, the ups and downs that you're seeing in the body paragraph, that is in the middle paragraph. And lastly, in the conclusion, you give some comparison that does not include any data, that is numerical value, but you say like for here, it is in this conclusion part, they're saying in conclusion, when comparing the two graphs, it is easily apparent that houses in Europe are much smaller than houses in non-European countries. So here some error is here. That's fine. Let's just ignore that part. But just look at the way that they're saying they are comparing two graphs here. But when you are you don't have two graphs. You have one graph. You compare the timeline or the countries within the graph, right? And what you see there, you just give a visible difference or visible comparison of the whole data that is given here and do not include any